Hi, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about how to get more sales with actionable steps. Welcome to Double Your Sales Now, where you learn all the tips, mindset shifts, tools, and strategies to 2 times your sales in any niche. I'm your host, Ursula Mentjes, and as usual, I'm excited to dive into the content today. I get this question all the time. Ursula, I want to grow my business. I even want to double my sales. Where do I get more sales? How can I find them? And so we're going to talk about that today. And I'm going to share it's kind of I feel like it's a secret because it took me a while to figure this out. And I read about it in multiple places. And then I heard Brian Tracy talk about it. Brian Tracy, that amazing sales guru out in the world, who's also a mentor of mine. And so I'm going to share this idea with you to help you figure out how to bring more sales in. And then I'm going to share in my own business how I've done it. Of course, I have a service-based business. Sales training and coaching is what we sell. So we're going to really dig into that today. So with that, some of you, if you're listening for the first time, I just want to say thank you. Thanks for coming out to play with us and talk about this great topic called sales, which isn't always so fun to talk about, but I think it's fun. So I hope you'll find it to be fun as well. If you're a return listener, again, we appreciate you. We have listeners all over the world, and I'm just so grateful for just to be able to spend this time with you today. I definitely recommend with all the shows that you take out a pen and a piece of paper to take some notes, because even if you just get one idea today, one thing that you could implement that could make a big difference in your business, it'll be worth your time spent. I know a lot of you listen on the treadmill, so be careful. Don't try writing while you're on the treadmill. Don't try putting notes in your phone, because that's way too dangerous. But just be open to that one idea that's going to bubble up, or that divine download that's going to come through it's going to help move your business forward. Again, today, we're diving into how to get more sales with actionable steps. More sales, right? That's what everybody wants. We want more sales. We want to get to that next level in our business. And you're like, maybe you're feeling stuck right now. Like, I've tried everything, or I feel like I'm pushing uphill. Whenever you feel like you're pushing in your business, you're probably off track. The whole thing I really want you to get today, in addition to some of the research that's out there and this very helpful secret that I got one time about figuring out how to bring more sales into my business, is that it shouldn't feel like an uphill battle. Selling shouldn't feel difficult. It shouldn't feel hard. It doesn't mean that it's going to be easy all the time. It might not feel easy to pick up the phone, but it shouldn't feel hard. So once you've set your sales stretch goal for the year, which I would encourage you to do if you haven't yet, then I want you to notice what are the ideas that start to show up for you regarding how to get there. Because there's certain marketing and sales techniques that work for some businesses, that work better for some businesses, and that might not work for yours. But maybe there's something that's a little bit different. You just thought about doing it and it kind of popped in like a divine download. And you're like, yeah, that might be really good. So notice the ideas that are popping in. Now, one of the ways that I really want you to stretch is to come up with a list of 50 ways. I know 50 is like, what? This is an exercise we do at some of the events that I have with our clients. And we ask our clients to come up with a list of 50 ways to answer this question. What is the fastest and easiest way to reach my sales stretch goal? So you might want to write that down again. What is the fastest and easiest way to reach my sales stretch goal? Okay. Writing that question down is one of the first actionable steps that you can take that'll start to open up the possibilities of what you could be doing to bring in more sales. Once you write that question down, you'll be surprised what starts to show up. Now, my challenge for you is to come up with 50 ideas. And there's a lot of research out there. Brian Tracy talks about this. There's other researchers who've talked about this, that when you can come up with a list of 50 ideas, you will find gold in that list, okay? And so I do this, I'm actually doing it with my team right now. We have a Google Doc where we're coming up with 50 ideas in terms of marketing one of the programs that we offer. And so it's not just something I talk about, it's something that I practice. And when our clients practice this, it's really cool to see what shows up. Another way to do this, if you're in a mastermind group or a network, kind of a smaller networking group, it's also really fun to do this as a group. Sometimes, like even if you just have a group of 4 people, okay, for you to come up with 10 ideas on your own that answer the question, what is the fastest and easiest way to reach my sales stretch goal? So come up with 10 ideas and then work with the mastermind group to come up with 40 more ideas. Have them help you come up with those ideas. Then once you finish that list, okay, I want you to go through and start to put them in order. Like which ideas really stand out for you, because I want you to come up with your top 5 ways that you could grow your business, that you could bring in more sales. And once you have those top 5 ways, that'll help you get really clear on what you can do next. So I want to share, I want to share in my own business how I've used this idea and how it's been helpful and how we actually run with it. So right now, 5 key areas that help me grow Sales Coach Now are speaking. So speaking for fee and for free, asking for referrals, networking, doing the podcast, which we're doing right now, and our online sales and marketing, running ads and making sure the website's up and SEO and all those crazy things that are not my super area of expertise. I definitely get a lot of help in that area, but that is, I would say that's my 5th area that we focus on. Now, these aren't in a particular order because they feed each other in different ways and they support each other in different ways, but this definitely helps us bring more sales into the business. And so I'm going to take each one because I know we have a lot of people who are in service-based businesses who listen, and I want you to think if some of these could be on your list, and maybe to also think how you could implement or use some of these ideas to help you bring in more sales as well. Number 1, speaking. So this would be as a public speaker, either for free or for fee. Okay. Now, I get this question a lot. Ursula, how did you get into the speaking world? Because now I'm a paid professional speaker, and I have speaker agents who book me, as well as, I do some of my own bookings. And this was not my chosen path. I mean, if I look back at the trajectory of my life, my business, my career, speaking was the one thing that I absolutely fought. And a lot of people see me on stage now and they're like, oh, they don't believe me. They think this is just a story I made up to sound like I overcame something. But no, I really had to overcome something tough, and it still will crop up at different times. And at some point, I really want to tally the amount of money I've spent on overcoming glossophobia. You can Google it. Glossophobia is like the deepest fear of public speaking that you could ever have. I had that. And I remember being in the 9th grade. I'll never forget this. And I remember the classroom I was in. I remember the teacher. And I had to get up in front of the room at the podium. There was a podium in this classroom, and read a paragraph that I had written. Just thinking about it makes me shudder, because in that moment, I would rather have died. Like, I was hoping that someone would put, that there would be a fire drill or a tornado drill or a real tornado. I didn't care. Anything to prevent me from having to read a paragraph in front of the room. Didn't happen. I had to get up there. I got through it. It was awful. And it was when I first realized that I had this phobia around speaking. And so from there, I ended up joining speech theater because a friend of mine was doing it, and a teacher encouraged me to do it. I'll tell you, there's nothing worse when you have glossophobia than now getting on stage in front of your peers and having to memorize things. Like, talk about putting myself in the fire. But there was this part of me that just knew that I had to overcome this fear, because I wanted to go to college. There were all these things that I knew I wanted to do. Nothing about being a paid public speaker, though. Let me be clear on that. But I wanted to be confident in using my voice, and I wasn't. And so, I got red ribbons every time. I mean, it was mortifying. I look back at this, and it was so embarrassing and humiliating to get on stage and get consistent red ribbons, especially when my friends were getting purple ribbons and they were excelling, and it was just so easy for them. And in my brain, I couldn't get it. I'm thinking, why is this so easy for them? Fast forward, I major in psychology and communication. Like, that's almost laughable, right? The psych part to figure myself out. Yep. The communication part to figure out how to become a better communicator and really a better public speaker. Very painful. Like, there's nothing worse. Well, worse than being on stage for me was also being videotaped and then watching it with your peers around you while they critique you. Okay, like, how much worse can it get? I will say this though, like putting myself in that situation did make me get a little bit better. Like, I started to overcome it a little bit. And then I had got an internship my senior year at St. Olaf, actually, when I was finishing my degree, with an organization that had me speaking to public schools around Minnesota. And so still nervous, still afraid, but I was doing it. I was getting up in front. And I remember those kids, like, God bless the kids, because they were a little bit easier to be in front of than my peers. And they were usually pretty nice. So, and they liked me. They were nice. They would come up and talk to me afterwards. The kids were great. And so I kept doing this. And I still think it was a form of personal torture. Like, when I look back, I'm not quite sure why I did it to myself, except for I felt this calling. I felt this like need that it was going to be important some way, someday. Fast forward, it was when I launched my business the first time. I was in the space of sales coaching and training. That was my company. And people started to ask me to speak on sales and selling because people didn't like to do it. And they're like, we'd love for you to come in and teach us how to do it. And so that was how I started, this crazy career of public speaking. And since then, it has become one of the greatest ways for us to bring new clients into the company. And, now I'm also a paid public speaker. So it's become another revenue stream. And so it's both. But I will say that, speaking to market and sell could be a powerful part of your business, whether you have services or you sell a product. And so it's something I want to encourage you to think about. So if for some of you who are listening right now, I can feel this, right? Like, you're thinking, okay, yes, it's something I've wanted to do, and I'm definitely afraid of it. And that's why I share my story about speaking, because I get it. Like, I did not want to do it. It was the thing that I was most afraid of in the world, believe it or not. And yet it's become this phenomenal part of my business. It's actually something I really now enjoy. Go figure. So there's my encouragement. If speaking is on your list as one of those things that you want to expand in, one of those areas that you want to get better at so that you can grow your business, definitely, do it and get some training. Like, find people who are out there. I've interviewed a lot of them on my show, speaker, training companies and other people that can support you on that journey. So find a coach, a mentor, training that will help you. I actually personally did Brian Tracy's 4-day boot camp with 11 other entrepreneurs in the room, and it was phenomenal. And to his credit, Brian was in that room for 4 days straight with us and gave us every bit of knowledge he had about how he'd grown his speaking career and how he'd increased his speaking fees and really what it takes to be in that space. And so I definitely think he's phenomenal to learn from. He's got a great book out on speaking. So definitely check that book out as well. It's I don't want to mess up the title, but it's the secrets to a 6-figure speaker business, something like that. Brian, forgive me, but if you Google it, you can find it, and it's really, really good. So speaking has become one of the number one ways that we grow our business. Second, referrals. So referrals are interesting, and I was blessed to have a lot of great training on referrals probably 10 years ago, and it was through the Referral Institute of California. Founded by Dr. Ivan Meisner, founder of BNI. And I really, really appreciated that training. And a shout out to my friend Laura, who made that training happen. When I look back at it, one of the things that I really, really got at a deep level is that strategic partnerships happen over time. It's about developing a relationship with someone. It's not just about a 1 or 2 referral situation. And I remember the statistics that they shared. If you had, 2 to 3 to 4 really strong referral partners, your company could double. And when I say that, I'm talking about other companies. So if you're a business owner, you want to find other businesses that share the same target market that you do, because when you partner together and you market together, then all of a sudden there's all these potential prospects that are in their business and vice versa for them. So it's got to be a win-win. That's a great referral partner. But I want you to think about, just right now, think about the potential referral partners that are in your circle who, maybe they've referred a few prospects to you, but you kind of know that they're sitting on a whole lot more potential and that maybe you could work together this year. So referral partners can be a profoundly impactful way to grow your business. The third way that I've grown my business, and this may or may not fit for you, is networking. Networking in the beginning of my business was all that I did. I mean, I look back at the chambers I was involved in Southern California. I was part of NAVO in California for years, National Association of Women Business Owners. I was part of a networking referral group. I also sat on a board for several charities, which was really powerful. So networking definitely in the beginning helped me grow my business, and it was a low cost way to do it. So if you're looking at your budget and you're thinking, I'm not sure, if I, what I can afford right now, anyone can afford to network. Like there's free networking that's out there. I mean, you can afford to get out there, and that can be a great way to get started. Over time, my networking has become much more intentional, and I'm really clear on those people that who I want to be connected to, who can help me, grow my business. I can help them grow their business. Like there's a lot of mutual interest in how we can support each other. So networking for me is different than it was then, but it's still a powerful part of how we grow the business today. The fourth one that I want to talk about is the podcast, the show. If you've been listening to my show for a while, you know that Tina Pettis, who's a great friend of mine now, inspired me to do the show. And I kind of went kicking and screaming, but she's like, look, Ursula, like if this is, she's a marketing expert. She's like, this is where it's going. Yes, video is amazing, and it is, but she said podcasting and audio, like people can listen in anywhere. Like it is growing even faster than video. And that was a few years ago. And I was listening. So in the beginning, we just had audio, and now we've added the video component to the podcast as well. But it has been a powerful way for us to connect with really prospects and clients all over the world now, which is really exciting. In fact, we've had podcast listeners who we've never met end up coming straight to our sales boot camp. And that's a big stretch, because, people only know me from the show, but they've been willing to make that jump. And I think that's pretty cool. So it was something that I hadn't expected that would happen. Now, some of you are like, well, yeah, isn't that the point? Well, I teach traditional selling. I teach face-to-face selling. So that's the space I've been in forever. And I think I had a little bit of belief that things, in the beginning, especially, like things had to be difficult in the world of selling, or we have to make it hard. Well, guess what? I was the one making it difficult and hard. And so it's just been fun to see, just what the podcast has done for the business, the opportunities that are showing up now, and the way we're able to connect with people all over the world. I mean, I love getting emails from our listeners in Africa and Brazil and all over. So thank you for being part of this podcasting world with me. The fifth one I want to talk about today that's important in my business, is definitely something we're doing more of, is our online marketing. Of course, that world barely existed. I mean, it used to be the yellow pages, right? I'm dating myself a little bit. I recognize that. But the way the online world has just exploded, right, is almost unbelievable when you think about how fast it's happened. Like if you look at, the United States of America, which is where I live, and how technology has changed and grown and expanded over the last 100 years. And then you look at like the last 20 years, things are speeding up. Call them quantum speed, but things are happening faster and faster and faster when it comes to technology. I mean, I can't even imagine where we're going to be 10 years from now, 5 years from now, 1 year from now. I mean, not that long ago, what we're doing right now wasn't even possible. Wasn't even a possibility. I mean, it was something that, only big companies had. But now we get to have these kinds of conversations all the time. And it's going to continue to keep growing and changing. So for those of you who don't love this space, this technology world, or the online marketing, I get it. And yet I want to encourage you to surround yourself with people who can support you in this area. My team, God bless all of them. I hope they listen to this, because they push me all the time. They're like, Ursula, you got to do this. Ursula, we got to be doing this. Ursula, why aren't we doing this? And I'm not saying don't do, like, it's not shiny object. Like they legit know what they're talking about, because I've brought in some really, really smart people who are much smarter than I am when it comes to the space of online marketing, much, much smarter. And so they're constantly showing me what's next and what we need to, how to stay on top of it. For us, it's not a perfect science. Like we're figuring it out just like everybody else is. What I love about it is that I can have this conversation with you right now we're having this conversation, and that's possible. And I can connect with you and encourage you and motivate you to sell more and to grow your business and to double your sales and to take your life and your business to that next level because of the technology that's there, because of the online marketing opportunities that we now have. And so I just want to encourage you to look into that space. I mean, so, in addition to, of course, talking about the podcast, we use ads, we use video ads now. We market on Facebook. Maybe that's how some of you heard about us. We market on Google. We market on Instagram. We're also, so we have ads on those social media channels. And of course, we also have our social media posts that we put out. Again, not a perfect science for me. We do the best that we can. All of that, though, all of it works together so that we can grow our business, so that we can have more sales. And that's what I want you to do as well, is to think, again, I want you to get to those top 5. What are the top 5 ways that you could have more sales in your business? And then what are the actionable steps that you can take after that? So one actionable step that we already talked about, number 1, is to write down the question, what's the fastest and easiest way to reach my sales stretch goal this year? Second, to come up with 50 ideas, either by yourself or with the help of a mastermind, on how you can do it. Third, the third step is you're going to come up with the top 5 for your business. And then next to the top 5, I want you to figure out, like, what action do you need to take? Now, if you're new in business, maybe 3 is enough, right? Maybe it's going to be networking, referrals, and speaking, for example. Maybe those are the 3 that you're going to focus on right now. Maybe you're brand new, and you're like, I can only do 1, Ursula. I just want 1. Okay, start with networking. Networking is an easy place to begin. Start with 1, but still go through the process. Ask the question of what is the fastest and easiest way to get there, and come up with those 50 ideas, because I think you'll be surprised. I was surprised to see, like, some of the ideas that came from that. Now, then you can do subcategories. So let's say networking, okay, is one of the areas that you want to focus on. Now, let's use that 50 ideas again. Where are the 50 places that you can network? How cool would that be, right? Like, where, and then figure out what your top 5 are. Podcast. Maybe you don't want to have your own show, but you want to be on other people's show. You want to be a podcast guest, right? Well, do some research. Come up with the 50 podcasts that you want to be on and write an email so you can start reaching out to them. So you see, start to take subcategories of the main marketing and sales categories that you have, so you can figure out how to bring in more sales this year. If you haven't yet, go to salescoachnow.com/gift, 6 secrets to doubling your sales. It's a PDF. It's easy to download. If you haven't gotten the gift yet, grab it, print it out, put it in front of you, because it'll help motivate you and get you excited about selling again. Also, I would love to partner with you at your next event or conference. If you go to Ursula Mentjes, and that's UrsulaMentjes.com, you can see all of my latest keynotes, and definitely click on the link there. And you can fill in, what you're looking for and how we can best serve you. It goes to my team. My team will reach out and let you know how we can support you. Finally, if you're interested in playing with us at Sales Camp, we offer 10 sales camps a year. Actually, for sure, in 2020, we're going to have 10 sales camps. And there are 8 of them in the Minneapolis area and 2 of them in San Diego. Because you're a podcast listener, please email us at contact@salescoachnow.com, and my team will give you our super secret special price for our podcast listeners to come and play at Sales Camp. We'd love to have you. If you haven't left a review on iTunes yet, and I hear from a lot of you, you're like, I love listening to your show. I would really love it if you would leave a review on iTunes, because it helps other people see, if this show could be a fit for them. So definitely leave that review, and we appreciate it. And please share the show with your friends and your colleagues. All right, you've got it. You've got this, right? I'm encouraging you to do the homework. I want you to do it. Feel free to email me at contact@salescoachnow if you had a big breakthrough, or if there's something exciting that's happening because of what we talked about today. Or email me as well if you have any questions that you'd like me to cover on the show. We'll be doing a lot more of that this year, a lot more teaching, a lot more connecting, a lot more motivation and support to keep you going to get to that next level. Remember to go to salescoachnow.com/gift to get our free PDF. Download it, print it out. We want to support you, and leave a review on iTunes. Thanks everybody for listening, and make this your most epic year yet. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Subscribe and ring the bell if you haven't yet. And if you want to check out more videos, tap the screen right here.